Alrighty, what's up everybody? Peter Gilmore here for another video right here on the Peter Gilmore YouTube wrestling page, youtube.com/Peter Gilmore. Thank you all for watching on this beautiful, cold, Thursday evening, January the 30th, 2020. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below on this channel and all my other channels, which are down below in the description box. And as always, friend me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and tap that bell, turn on all my notifications so you never miss an upload. Do it now! And that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, like I said, on this Thursday evening, January the 30th, 2020. Already at the end of January. So February starts this weekend at the Groundhog on Sunday. You see if he shows his shadow or doesn't show his shadow. Hopefully we get an early spring. It's supposed to be 60 here in the Northeast on Tuesday. So maybe we are getting an early spring. I don't know. Hopefully, but you never know. We could get 6 more weeks of winter and we get 650 blizzards coming. I don't know. Valentine's Day coming up as well. And then pretty soon after that, it's Easter in April. April 12th, I believe. So, year is starting off with a bang and going by like a big fat jet plane. And if you blink, you miss it. That's all I gotta say about that. But on this Thursday evening, it is time for your late and out-of-date NXT review for January the 29th, 2019 from Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. Alright, so NXT last night was pretty decent for what it was. And both their show and AEW did pretty good. The numbers are out for the ratings for both shows, and once again, AEW won with 828,000 views to NXT's 712,000 views. So once again, AEW went down in, well, I think they went down in views again. Last week they had 871,000, so they went down 30-something thousand views. NXT had 769,000. They went down as well. So I think, ever since the New Year's Day edition of AEW Dynamite, when they got almost 1 million views, they've gone down a lot. I don't understand why. There's nothing really on Wednesday nights besides basketball and hockey. Even though hockey already had the All-Star game, I think the NBA All-Star game is this weekend. So really nothing to contend with. And I guess it's just people don't feel like watching Dynamite and NXT anymore. Wrestling has gotten stale. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what's causing all this, if you know what Ric Flair used to say. But I really don't have an answer for you. What's causing all the drop in views every week? But really, if you think about it, AEW should be getting around 900,000 views. They're getting barely above 800,000 views. I think next week they'll probably get 800,000 views. If it keeps going downward. I mean, they're putting on pretty... I mean, this week's show was kind of a little bit this week. Not like the last 3 weeks. But, see what happens this Wednesday night on the program from Huntsville, Alabama. We'll see what happens with that show. Lined up. NXT's got a pretty good show coming up next week, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the ratings have just gone downhill ever since New Year's Day. for AEW, and NXT is just barely around the same. Around the same. And ever since the Christmas show, their ratings have gone down a lot, and just AEW still dominant. Oh, they're not getting much ratings as they should be getting. They really should be getting over 1 million views in my eyes, but that's just my opinion. But that's it. So let's get into NXT. Let's not waste any more time. It was a pretty decent show. We had the finals of the Dusty Rhodes American Dream, baby. Tag Team Classic between the Broserweights, Matt Riddle and Pete fucking Dunne against the Grizzled Young Veterans of Gibson and Drake. Had that. Finn Balor on the show. Had Tommaso Ciampa wreaking havoc on the show. And we were supposed to find out Adam Cole, baby's opponent for NXT TakeOver Portland for the NXT World Title. So we got that. We got a couple other things happening on the show, and let's get into it. So we start the show with a video package highlighting what happened last week. And if you missed it, go back and watch last week's show. That's it. Alright, so we get the match number 1. Finn Balor on Trent Seven of Mustache Mountain. This is fallout from Worlds Collide, and Balor attacked Johnny Gargano after his match, his and Ciampa's match, as they reformed DIY. Take on Mustache Mountain, and DIY won. And then Balor attacked Gargano, beat him up, and then Mustache Mountain had to run him off. Then later on in the week, which was on Tuesday night, they had a altercation in the parking lot where Trent Seven was coming into Full Sail University out of his car, and Balor attacks him and pins him with the car door in his neck, and trying to crush his larynx and pipe like that. So this is the fallout from that, and the match was decent. It was alright. Balor attacks at the bell, sending Seven to the floor, and it's all Balor to begin, choking out Trent Seven, following with some stomps, targeting the injured neck that he delivered on the past Tuesday night. And he goes to work on him, hits a sling blade, chokes him out, stomps on his neck, and maintains control, keeping Trent down for a while. But Trent fights back and delivers some chops and a DDT. Follows up with some more chops. Balor comes back, but Trent hits the Snapdragon suplex. Then the 7-star lariat for a near fall. Then he dumps Balor to the floor, and then he hits a weak-looking suicide dive. And he goes up top, but he's still holding his neck and everything. Balor cuts him off, trips him up, and Trent landed hard on the mat. Then he hits John, woo! Shotgun knees. And then a coup de grace. And right after that was Sunday! Bloody Sunday! A Bloody Sunday. And he picks up the win. Uses momentum into his match with Johnny Gargano at TakeOver Portland in 3 weeks. So, see what happens with Balor as we move on. So he gets the win. Match I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. It wasn't a great match, but it was decent for what it was. And maybe we'll see Balor and Tyler Bate next, because Bate probably wants to get revenge on Balor for hurting his tag team partner. I think that'll be a great match, but we'll see. See what happens over the next couple weeks, and we move on. All right, then we get Kathy Kelly interviewing the Broserweights, Matt Riddle and Pete fucking Dunne. Riddle says he can now see the love from his bro from another Mo. Okay, and whenever Pete looks at him, Pete has the angriest straight face on that you ever see. He's like, just looking at him, like, I hate your guts. I'm still your tag team partner. And this tournament, has had weird combinations teaming up. I mean, first year was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and they won the fucking tournament. They didn't win the titles, but they won the tournament. And then you had Aleister Black and Ricochet. Should have won the belts, but they didn't win the they won the tournament, didn't win the belts. Then AOP won the tournament. They won the belts. Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, they won the Dusty Classic, I think, last year. They won the belts. So we'll see what happens this year. And who wins between the Cruiserweights and the Grizzled Young Veterans in the main event. So, gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Pete says they'll snap the Grizzled Young Vets in half if they have to. And when they win, everyone will see that Pete's ready to party. Of course I'm ready to party. My name is Peter. I'm always ready to party. I'm an animal. I digress. And we move on from there. So like I said, 2.25 out of 5 stars. So we'll see what happens in the main event later on in the evening. Alright, then we got a recap video of the Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox feud. We see what happened at War Games where Dakota Kai turned heel and beat the crap out of Tegan and injured her knee. Then we see Tegan's revenge on Dakota at Worlds Collide. Beating the crap out of her. So we're going to see this match in a little bit. So I gave that video 2 out of 5 stars. Then what I didn't see on my end, on what I saw from NXT, I didn't see this segment, but it, it is what it is. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. There was a video that aired with 3 yellow circles featuring the numbers 5, 20, and 2 in them. I have no idea what that means. Could be any combination. Maybe it means 5/22, or it means maybe a date. Maybe May 22nd. I don't know. Could mean anything. I really don't know what it means. And could be the Velveteen Dream coming back for all we know. You haven't seen him in months. And I was thinking he was going to come back at maybe the WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens. So we'll keep this going, and we'll see what happens next week on the program. If there's any further videos showing this yellow circles, maybe there'll be some words like it'll be like cracking the code of Chris Jericho back in like 2000 and was it 2000 and I forget what year it was. When he came back for the second time. He came back as Y2J. Save us, Y2J! And that was when he was facing Randy Orton. And Randy Orton kicked his ass. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens with that, and we move on. Alright, then we get to match number 2. Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuoso, taking on Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi comes out in her mini tank that she used when she was in Evolve and other various promotions in the Northeast and around the country. So that was pretty nice. So they do battle. Match was okay. They lock up. Deonna grounds things, working on the arm. Shotzi escapes, hits an insecurity, but Deonna can cut her off with the divorce court. That was the leg lariat or whatever that is. And she continues to work on the arm, grounding and pounding. And she hits a near fall out of that. Shotzi fires back, hits a neck breaker and a bulldog. Falls with some strikes and some kicks for a near fall. Deonna hits a beautiful bicycle kick. But Shotzi got back up and hits the lung blower. And then she goes up top, hits the top rope senton splash. And finishes off. So Shotzi gets her first win in NXT. One of many. And continues her winning ways. After losing to Shayna Baszler, she gets her win back. And she put on a good performance against Shayna. Last week. I believe it was last week. And this week, she put on a pretty decent performance. But she has a lot of potential. Maybe a NXT women's... Oh, can't say women. NXT Championship title match coming up since they took the women's thing out. Yeah, they did. I don't think commentary has said it yet, but I think they will eventually say the NXT Championship. Makes no fucking sense. Thanks a lot, Becky Lynch. Good job. Go suck on Seth Rollins' tiny little cock. Bitch. Anyway, so Shotzi gets the win. Match I gave 2 out of 5 stars. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. We move on. Alright, then we get Keith Lee, and we will all bask in his glory. Oh, bask in his glory. But the White Stripes are getting a lot of money for all the times that song has been played and the variations of the song. Getting a lot of money, Jack White is. Probably loaded right now. I wonder when the next White Stripes album is. Whenever that'll be. Whenever they come back out. I mean, he's in so many side projects. It's insane. I haven't heard from the guy in a while. But, you know, I think a new White Stripes album has to be made. Maybe we'll get, Seven Nation Army Part 2. Never know. But we'll see what happens with that. So, Keith Lee comes out with the North American title, calls himself the Limitless, North American Champion. And he talks about ending the Undisputed Era's prophecy. And says he's about to say what's next for him, which I would think would be the NXT World Title and Adam Cole, baby. Then Damian Priest comes out and said he likes taking things, whether it be a bevy of women or a prized possession, and what he wants is the North American title. And then Dominik Dijakovic comes out, and these 3 men have been involved in that Fatal 4-Way match to determine the #1 contender to the North American title, which Keith Lee won. So Dominik puts over Keith Lee as a deserving champion, and adds that if anybody deserves a shot at Keith Lee, it's not this bootleg Marilyn Manson wannabe. That really pissed off Damian Priest. I guess he likes Marilyn Manson or something like that. So they go face to face. Keith Lee's like, I'm gonna let you guys handle this. I'm out of here. Then, Dominik Dijakovic tries to stop him, but then Priest hits Dominik in the face. Keith Lee leaves anyway. He's like, I'm out of here. And then we get a referee, and then we get another match. An impromptu match. So, the segment was okay. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then we get to Damian Priest and Dominik Dijakovic. Pretty good match. They go at it right at the bell, trading moves. Dominik hits a backbreaker and a splash from their fall. They go to the floor. Damian hits an apron splash mountain. As we go to break, we come back. They go back and forth again. Dominik hits a dump suplex. Damian fires back with a lariat and a flatliner for a near fall. Dominik goes for a feast your eyes, but he hits a choke bomb for a near fall. Damian goes to the floor as Dominik follows him out with an moonsault. And then Dominik goes to work on him. Damian fights for his feet, heads up top. Dominik cuts him off, follows him up in a battlefield position as Damian hits an avalanche poison Conrana for a near fall. Goes for the reckoning, and Dominik counters right back and hits Feast Your Eyes for the win. It looks like we're gonna get Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee 5. I think it's 5. I think they've had so many series of matches. They had like 3 or 4 matches, and I think it's knotted at 2. 3-1 Keith Lee. So we're gonna get another match in this big rivalry at TakeOver Portland. Most likely. It should be a great match. I think Keith Lee will win and retain the belt. Because I really don't think Dijakovic with that belt will last that long. But you get that. And see what happens with that. So I gave the match 3 out of 5 stars. It was pretty good for what it was. And I guess the right man won. I would have liked Damian Priest to win. But I guess the WWE's got something else for him to do. Maybe job or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Right, then we get Kathy Kelly interviewing Tommaso Ciampa about the possibility of being announced as Adam Cole Baby's challenger for TakeOver Portland. Ciampa says Goldie comes home at TakeOver and he's going to make sure of it later on. So we'll see what happens with Ciampa. I give that 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after that, a break, we come back, we see the Undisputed Era laid out, except for Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Rodney Strong all laid out. And then we see Ciampa walk out from a corner with a lead pipe, and his shirt's all ripped up. He's limping. Oh, he probably got beat down in the parking lot or backstage by the Undisputed Era, and then Ciampa found the pipe and started wailing on him, and we didn't see it. So he limps towards the arena, brings a table with him, and we see Adam Cole finding his partners down and out. He heads to the arena, and he calls out Ciampa for being a coward, and Ciampa says he never lost the title and that he's Goldie's daddy. Daddy's coming home. Ciampa demands he comes to the ring and sign a contract for a title match at TakeOver on the table he brought in. And then William Regal comes out, says that Cole already signed the contract and he doesn't care who he faces at TakeOver Portland. And Cole snatches the contract and says, "I got this." Walks to the ring with a purpose. Ciampa charges when he gets on the apron and Cole hits him with the microphone in the head. Ciampa fights back and lifts up Adam Cole and drills him through the table. So another contract signing ending in someone getting put through a table, ending in chaos. And then we see Ciampa's busted. He's all busted up, bloody. He signs a contract and wipes it with blood. Haven't we seen that before with Bray Wyatt? Smearing his blood from his hand on the contract with Daniel Bryan for that strap match at the Royal Rumble. Saw that. So he wipes the contract in blood, and then he starts staring at Goldie. And it looks like we're gonna get Ciampa Adam Cole for the NXT World Title at TakeOver Portland. I don't think Ciampa's gonna win. I think Ciampa will win by disqualification. I think the Undisputed Era will get involved somehow near the end of the match, and we'll take him out, and then maybe Adam Cole hits him in the nuts, and the referee sees it and calls a disqualification. And then they have a rematch at TakeOver Tampa Bay at WrestleMania weekend. That's when Ciampa wins the belt, and he's probably gonna hold it for a year. But since he really never lost, and he was holding it for almost 2 years. A year and a half, really. And we'll see what happens at TakeOver Portland in 3 weeks. But Ciampa gets the measure of revenge, and he puts Adam Cole through a table. We'll see if Adam Cole has anything to say about that next week. I think he will. And probably take out Ciampa next week with Undisputed Era's help. But it looks like the prophecy is about to end. Most likely, it might happen at TakeOver Portland. I think Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish will lose the tag team belts to the winners of the Dusty Rhodes tournament. And Adam Cole might lose his belt to Ciampa. But we'll see what happens. So I gave that segment 3 out of 5 stars. And we'll see what happens next week on the program with Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, and Tommaso Ciampa. Let me move on from there. Alright, then we find out that next week we got the new Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin in action. So that'd be nice to see. The man who got trained by Finn Balor. So we'll see that. We'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, then we get to Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. Match was okay. This is stemming from War Games. It's stemming from Worlds Collide. They brawl right at the bell. Tegan cuts her off until Dakota hits the running kick. And then a cannonball by Tegan Nox. Kai goes to the outside. She pulls her to the floor. They brawl on the floor. Tegan slams her into the stands and then right back into the ring, where Dakota cuts her off with a kick to face. She grabs a chair on the outside. Nox cuts her off and sends her into the ring post. Then Tegan has a chair. The referee sees it, drops it, and then Dakota Kai gets the knee brace, and then she hits a German suplex. She misses the headshot. Tegan hits a German suplex, and then Dakota tried to use the she tried to get back in the ring with a chair, and then Candice LeRae comes out, takes the chair from Dakota, and then sends her into the ring where Tegan Nox hits Kai with a knee brace in the face, and then the shiniest wizard finishes it off. So Tegan gets her revenge on Dakota Kai. Match was alright. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. But it wasn't really a good match. And it looks like this feud is over when it really just started. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. But we'll see what happens next week with these two young ladies. And yeah, that's all I gotta really say about that. And you move on from there. And not charging. That's all about. There we go. Alright. Okay. Alright, so like I said, we get 2 out of 5 stars for that. And then we get to your horrible match of the week. We got Kayden Carter taking on Chelsea Green in her NXT debut match. We got Robbie E at ringside, Robert Stone, whatever you want to call him. This match sucked. 3-minute suckfest. Kayden was in control to start. Basically whipping Chelsea Green's ass. And Chelsea comes back with some ground and pound. Carter fights to her feet, counters the unprettier, and gets a cradle for a near fall. Then she hits a super kick. And then another one, and she gets a near fall out of that. Chelsea comes back with a big boot. She starts celebrating, thinks she's the greatest wrestler of all time. And then Kayden Carter comes from behind, gets a small package, 1920 style, and she gets the win. A match I really didn't give 2 shits about, so I gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know why they hyped up Chelsea, so much. They took her out of the Battle Royal, and then Robert Stone's like, she's the hottest free agent, and she comes to the arena and it's like, I'm leaving. And then they put her in the Royal Rumble, and she gets thrown out of the Royal Rumble. And now she gets put in her first match on NXT TV, and she loses. So what the hell was that hype for? Maybe she gets the win back next week in a rematch, but who cares about that? So, like I said, I gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars. Just a horrible match. And that's all I gotta say about that. Just horrible. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. And we're gonna move on from there. Alright, then we get to the main event for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. We got the Broserweights against the Grizzled Young Veterans. Very good match. Well, not great match, but a good match. It's also with Drake and Pete Dunne starting off. They lock up. Dunne takes control. Attacks the arm of Drake. Tags in Matt Riddle. They double team Drake for a little bit. Riddle counters into an ankle lock. And then Gibson attacks. He tags in, takes control. Riddle fires back with some kicks and a suplex. Tags in Pete Dunne. They double team on Gibson. And then Dunne cuts off Drake and moonsaults into Gibson on the floor. Drake attacks and they hit a spiked tombstone pile driver on the floor. Ow. They go back in. Drake covers for a near fall. Dunne fires back, but Drake sends him into the ring post. And Dunne spills to the floor as we go to break. We come back. Dunne comes back with an X-Plex. Tags in Matt Riddle, who goes nuts. Hitting Drake with an exploder. Well, he dumps Drake to the floor. Hits an exploder on Gibson. And then a Broton and a penalty kick follow that. Then a German falls for a near fall. Then he hits a spear to Drake. And then the Bro Hammer after that. Pete Dunne comes in. They double team on Drake for a near fall. Dunne is then dumped to the floor. Riddle fights for his life, but is double teamed and cut off for a near fall. Then they isolate Matt Riddle for a while. They go back and forth. Riddle counters, but Drake tags in as they double team Matt Riddle. Dunne then makes the save. Then all 4 men in a ring And then we get a couple of powerbombs by Matt Riddle, and a knee strike gets a near fall. Riddle falls out with a Fisherman's Buster for a near fall. Then another Broton, and another one. So you get a Broton, then another Broton connects. Drake cuts him off with a DDT. And then Gibson and Dunn get the hot tag. They go nuts on each other. Dunn hits a snap German suplex, stomps on his hands, and then the ankle lock falls as Riddle gets one on Drake. And then the Grizzly Young Veterans fight back. They escape as Dunn gets dumped to the floor. Then they dump Matt Riddle to the floor. Dunn suplexes Gibson onto the apron. Ow. And they get back in. Gibson hits a lariat on Dunn for a near fall. They go to work on Pete Dunne for a while. But they go for the Doomsday finisher, but Dunn cuts it off and gets a victory roll for a near fall. Drake cuts off Dunn, gets dumped to the floor as Gibson hits Ticket to Ride for a near fall. And then Gibson hits Shankly Gates. I have no idea what that is. And Pete Dunne fights up as Gibson pulls him to the center of the ring. Riddle comes in, fights off Drake, takes out Gibson to save Dunn. And then Riddle comes in, they powerbomb Drake on the Gibson, and then the bitter knee strike. Combo gets a near fall. Then all 4 men in the ring again. Drake cradles Riddle for a near fall. They hit the Doomsday Device on Pete Dunne on the floor. Get back in, look to do damage on Matt Riddle. They double team him, and they hit the suplex splash combo for a near fall. Pete Dunne cuts off Ticket to Mayhem. They hit a double team Bo Stones. And then they followed up with some top rope moonsaults to both men. And then they hit a pop up knee strike, finishes it off. And then the Bruiserweights win the Dusty Rhodes American Dream Classic tournament. They will face Undisputed Era at TakeOver Portland, and most likely will win. Looks like they will win, and be the third team in the history of the Classic to win the belts after they won the trophy. So it should be a good match with the Undisputed Era at TakeOver Portland in a couple weeks. But this match was pretty good. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. But nobody thought they would win. A lot of people had the Grizzled Young Veterans to win. I personally had the Bruiserweights to win, but not the whole tournament. I thought that Undisputed Era were gonna win again, and then nobody will get a title shot. But Imperium would have won and got a title shot. Gonna maybe become double champions, but that didn't happen. And we saw what happened at Worlds Collide, where Imperium beat the crap out of Undisputed Era. Then they got what they got at the end of that. So that was it. So like I said, 3.5 out of 5 stars for the match. Pretty good. So congratulations to the Bruiserweights on winning the Dusty Rhodes American Dream, baby. Tag Team Classic. They won the trophy. They faced the Undisputed Era at TakeOver Portland. Should be a great match. And we'll see who wins the tag team belts that night. And that's pretty much it. So there'll probably be some storyline progression going into next week with the Undisputed Era and the Bruiserweights. Maybe an altercation, maybe a fight here and there, but we'll see. But that's all I really got to say about that. So that is it for your NXT review. And I gave the show 7 out of 10 stars. It was alright. Not a great show, but pretty decent show for what it was. And we'll see what happens this Wednesday night on the programs with AEW and NXT. NXT's got Jordan Devlin on the show next week. We'll see what happens with Ciampa and Adam Cole. Maybe some stuff with Keith Lee. Maybe something with Rhea Ripley. Maybe having a match at TakeOver Portland for the NXT Women's Championship. Or the NXT Championship, whatever you're going to call it now. So we'll see what happens with that. And then on AEW, you got Jon Moxley and Ortiz going at it. You got the heat of Bucks and Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega taking on the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade. Should be a great main event. And we got Cody getting 10 lashes from MJF. See what happens with that. And all more to come on AEW and NXT this Wednesday night on the program. So, getting closer and closer to TakeOver Portland and AEW Revolution on February the 29th. So it should be two good shows, along with WWE Super Showdown on February the 27th. We'll get more into that, I would think, tomorrow night on SmackDown, and maybe or next week. But we'll see what happens with that. Maybe get a medical update on Edge. I know he's gonna be out till WrestleMania. It's most likely he's gonna be out till Mania. He's gonna be out for a long time. You're gonna say, because Beth Phoenix said that she would like to be by her husband's side, but they get right back up, and that's it. She said, "Let's do this," and that's it. And then she suffered a concussion and a gash on her head. She smacked the ring post when she flipped over in the corner, smacked her head right on the ring post, busted herself wide open, and her head looked like spaghetti and meatballs. She finished the Rumble, got eliminated. She finished the match, so give some credit to her. You know, she should not be in the Hall of Fame, but don't get me started with that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. So NXT gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Leave me your thoughts and questions down below in the comments area. Anything you want to talk about with NXT, AEW, Raw, SmackDown, TNA, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got New Beginning in Sapporo this weekend, and I think Osaka day after. What's the weekend after? I forget. We're on the road to Sakura Genesis in March. Then Wrestling Dantaku coming up, and some other big shows coming up by the springtime. And we've got the G1 coming up later on in the year. G1 Climax 30, I think, 29 or 30. That should be interesting. Maybe it'll be in the States, I'm hearing. Hopefully come to New York with that one. I would love to go to the G1 in New York. I can get the money for it. I don't care if I sit in the nosebleeds. I'm going to see the G1. If it's at the Hammerstein, it most likely will be at the Hammerstein. Hammerstein, I should say. Hammerstein. Not the Hammerstein. It's the Hammerstein building. But we shall see what happens with that. That's all I gotta say about that. So thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments about NXT in the comment section of this video. Leave your questions down below, or hit me up via Twitter or Facebook. Link to my Twitter is down below in the comments in the description box, so check it out. Give me a DM or a tweet. If you're on Facebook, just type in Peter Gilmore, you'll find me somewhere. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm going to take a nap now because I'm really fucking tired from today. And I'd have a video up later tonight about Alicia Fox possibly getting into the Hall of Fame. Not officially announced, because WWE hasn't announced anything since the NWO and Batista got announced into the Hall of Fame. But they've been talking about the Bella Sluts, and they're talking about Alicia Fox now. I'll give my little bit of an opinion about Alicia Fox possibly getting into the Hall of Fame. Not that she deserves it, but they're putting anybody in the fucking Hall of Fame, so why not her? So I'll give my little rant about that. Not a big rant. Might not be a long rant, but we'll see what happens from there. And that's all I gotta say about that. So, thank you for watching. I'm Peter Gilmore, signing off. Peace out. Rock on. If you're not down with that, fuck you. Get the fuck off my channel if you don't like it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. So, thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace! Bitches.